Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to another thrilling episode of Crossover. I don't even know the mage thing.
Rage Mage.
Werewolf? What?
Rage Mage. Just call it Rage
Rage
Mage.
Rage Mage? That seems legit. We'll go with Rage Mage. That seems fine. Rage Mage across New York. Or something. Anywho, we'll be setting this particular scene as Maebh has decided to hop off the subway partway on her way home from the park. As she knows for a fact, having probably asked assistance from one of the Fianna at the library at home, that there's a big library here and it's right on her route, so why would she not stop? So she'll hustle off the subway and hurry herself into the library. She'll tell the kin that are with her that they're fine to continue on back to the park without her. She'll be there soon. After all, it's not like anyone bothers her, because even Rage 2 is just enough to make people think twice. Surely she has a big buff boyfriend or something. That seems fine. So she'll hustle her way into the library and spend a couple minutes struggling with the computer before she just sighs and goes to probably whatever archaic card system there is besides the Dewey Decimal System to go poking through, finding things, and immediately fly into the fiction section, emerging with a pile at least 5 high of novels that she has missed on their debut, and dive promptly afterwards into the nonfiction to start rooting through various archaic religions and beliefs and whatnot, hunting through the books, flipping them open, flipping a few pages, tucking them back, or adding them to the pile. The pile is taking a respectable size. And she'll certainly be easily visible as she flits about.
Scott will be... She might have run past him in the fiction section. Because he has had access to just a incredible library at his stay with the Order of Hermes. They just have a wonderful library. It's chock full of goodies and various esoteric texts. But one thing it's lacking is in the mundane. What was released, last month or earlier in the year. And you know what? He needs to catch up on the Dresden Files. So he was in the fiction section looking for the latest Dresden File book. Actually, past 2 or 3. He's been behind a bit. And he has those. But you know what? It can't hurt to try the nonfiction section to see what's good there. If there's anything maybe that the Diogenes Club Library doesn't have. Something it might have overlooked or something recent. So he will be perusing the shelves around the religious stuff, seeing if there's anything really out there by some unknown author who just kind of skirted by the editors and managed to get something released that he really shouldn't have. He or she.
Always a good idea. And Maeve is probably down one of those same aisles. She's got an iris tucked behind her ear still from the gardens at the park that she's been helping with. And again, there's just a growing pile, which is a kind of comical mix of several large books about various dated religions, several on the ancient druids in particular. And then, of course, at least one hardback, more recent book from Mercedes Lackey, and several paperbacks with just very bright, almost watercolored or almost pastel-colored pencil-looking covers, very obviously fantasy books that would attract a young lady. They've got the definitely not the romance novel stuff with rippling abs across the cover. Most of them showcase men or women in white robes atop a white horse with bright blue eyes. It's all in all, it's a weird mix, but what you gonna do? And she has sat herself, probably somewhat inconveniently, halfway into the aisle to flick through another book, browse knitted a little bit to determine whether it's something that's worth taking home and reading thoroughly.
Scott will take note of the Pern stuff since he's got fiction on the brain.
Oh, that's in there too.
And he will actually strike up a conversation. You know, I never looked at the Pern stuff. I always heard about Lackey, but I'd have gotten punched if I read that back in, the school days.
And she'll pop her head up and, probably has the book still kind of half open in her hands and grins brightly. Yeah, I guess for a guy it would be kind of punch-worthy. It's good stuff, though. The way they bond with the dragons, and actually the dragons are intelligent, makes it I don't know. It's a lot better than the really archaic idea of, dragons just being a fire-breathing monster or something.
Wait, the dragons are good?
Oh yeah. The dragons are you find out through reading that the dragons were originally just these little lizards, and the way that they breathe fire is by chewing certain rocks, and the chemicals in the rocks do a number with the chemicals in their stomachs, and then they belch the fire to relieve the pressure. It's just kind of a natural process. And they were genetically engineered to be big enough to ride to help fight a natural threat on the planet.
Well, damn, that's a relief.
Oh yeah, it's really cool.
You can P&E him if you want.
I will, absolutely. I have to remember what I have. Okay. Nope. Only 2.
He looks genuinely relieved that the dragons are good.
She actually somewhat genuinely agrees with this. So she'll kind of nod and grin. Yeah, there's a whole bonding process. The dragons become bound to the person that rides them for life. I mean, no one in the stories, even if they lose their dragon, ever bonds with another one. And usually when the rider dies, the dragon, it kind of goes into the between world and never comes back.
The dream world.
Well, no, it's called between. It's kind of like this weird void that they can flash into. I mean, okay, so instead of it being magic, the way they talk to their riders is like telepathy. And one of the other things that they can do is this weird shift between the normal world and the between, and it's how they can travel long distances and just in the snap of an eye, and it's also how they can dodge in combat. But the between world is kind of like this cold void that stretches forever, and they're normally only in there for seconds at a time. But when a rider dies, they just kind of dive through and don't come back.
That sounds terrible.
It really is, actually. She kind of takes a pause to think about what she's just rattling off and gets a slightly more serious look about it.
Yeah, since you already got the other P&E roll, this time that sense of relief is washed away by just pure worry.
I mean, it's not like it's common. It's just a thing they touch on.
Yeah, of course. Nah, I just came here to pick up this, and he starts waving one of the Dresden books.
And she tilts her head a little bit because that's not outrageous high fantasy, so she hasn't read it. What's that?
Oh, it's called it's part of a series. It keeps going on. Holy crap, how many books is it? I lost count. But anyway, yeah, it's a series called Dresden Files, and it's about a wizard detective. And he looks almost embarrassed as he says that.
She kind of knits her brow but nods and looks earnestly eager for him to continue.
Yeah, First book is about this wizard detective, and there's this evil wizard guy, and like he's trying to solve a murder because this guy like had his heart ripped out of his chest, and it looked really weird, like it was ripped out from the inside.
Her eyebrows pop up a little bit.
Yeah, it's pretty grim. But he follows the trail, follows the clues. One trail leads into a vampire, so yeah, those things.
Yeah, those things.
Then he eventually has the big battle with the big bad. Giant scorpions appear. There's a demon. Yeah, that was there too.
Wow.
Then the next one was...
All that in just the first book?
Oh, yeah. It was a lot. You could tell he was just trying to get a whole bunch of stuff down. I don't know if he ever expected the series to take off.
Well, I mean, do they stay good? You said there's a lot of them, but as long as the writing's still good.
Well, I mean, they're fun. It's not exactly James Joyce.
That's kind of what's important, though, as long as they're fun to read.
Yeah, that was the first one. Second one was about werewolves.
Yeah?
Yeah, like apparently there's a lot of different kinds of werewolves.
Well, I mean, you read enough fantasy books, you get every flavor of werewolf ever, and every type of vampire, and every type of every monster. It's like everyone has their own version.
Yeah. They're all out there. It's crazy.
She kind of shrugs a bit. I like it regardless of what stuff they add or take away, as long as they're well written. Like Mercedes Lackey, and by the way, Pern is Anne McCaffrey, because nerd. So she'll kind of...
Chalk it up to him not knowing, so you can correct him on that.
So Mercedes Lackey here, and I mean the Pernies books are this one, and she flicks out we'll say Dragon Song, which has Anne McCaffrey, of course, blazoned across the cover. But Mercedes Lackey here, the way she writes magic it makes a lot of sense. Like, everyone writes magic a different way, and a lot of people obviously kind of use it as the hand-wavy, I do what I want thing. But she actually seems to have put a lot of thought in it, and the way it all works and the checks and balances and ley lines and nodes and all that stuff, it makes a lot of sense. I really like it.
I might have to check that out then.
Good one for the heavy magic stuff. Maybe she'll tap her chin for a second. Maybe Owl Flight? The Owl Knight series, that trilogy that she wrote, involves... No. Was it the Wind series? Yeah, Winds of Fate, Winds of Change, and Winds of Fury is one of the trilogies she wrote, and it involves basically the princess of this large city where, like, normal magic is unknown. They all have, like, little gifts, like fire starting and mind speak and stuff like that, but no one has true magic there. And this princess is born who does have access to true magic, and she has to go find teachers to teach her how the laws of magic actually work, so that she can do it without, like, trying to tap into something too big and exploding.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't want to do that. Not at all.
Yeah. But it just makes a lot of sense, especially splitting it up so that there's true magic and then there's these other little gifts and things that aren't necessarily magical. They're more like, I don't know, based on telepathic or telekinesis type stuff. Mind magic.
Mind magic. Oof. Yeah, I may have to look into that to see. Yeah.
I mean, she has a lot of books, and I know they're mostly the kind of stuff that chicks read, but they are really good, and it's a very long series.
Yeah, the magic in this, and he waves the Dresden book. It's a little, I don't know. The lead character just seems to get whatever he wants, you know?
Ooh, that's never fun.
I mean, like it's like, oh well, he couldn't do this before. Next book, oh look, now he can do this. Now he gets this ability out of, yeah, it ramps up really quick, and I don't know, it's just not very organic.
It doesn't feel realistic, like he's working for it.
Well, I mean, realistic,
Well, I mean, obviously not like real, but believable.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
She'll nod a bit. No, the Mercedes Lackey books are pretty good. She kind of does the same, like no matter what series she's writing, the magic has the same rules. So there's also the Elemental Masters series, which is a lot more heavy magic, but it's a lot more elemental based. But
Well, I better just stick with the one for now.
yeah, check out that one series, the Winds series. It's that trilogy is pretty good out of that series, and it's pretty magic heavy.
So I noticed you don't just have fiction there in that little stack.
And she kind of, her ears will turn a little pink because of all the silly shit to get embarrassed of. It's the real books. And she'll kind of flick them all so that they rest on the not the bindings, but the edge of the book, so the bindings are turned upwards, and kind of shrugs a little. I mean, magic is neat stuff. Love it. And all the, like, going back and reading about where those beliefs started, it's kind of cool. Like, I'm not exactly a religion buff or anything, but I mean, it's still kind of neat.
No, I mean, a curious mind is a great thing.
And she'll nod and grin a bit. And for the sake of argument, like the type of quote magic stuff she's looking into, the religions and whatnot, it's all like verbena appropriate, as it were. Like old school, dug deep.
Maid, mother, and crone.
Yeah.
Types. Yeah, gotcha.
That's just kind of the running trend in there.
No, yeah, I mean, curiosity is what led me down my academic path.
Yeah? What'd you do?
Linguistics.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah, it really is, but you'd be surprised how many people just don't think about it.
Well, I mean, I'm not good at it, but it's interesting. Like, didn't Tolkien write all of his fantasy languages with all the knowledge he had from real languages?
Yes, once you understand language, then you can write language. You can create new words, new meaning. It's real magic when you can create real meaning,
Well, it's actually, yeah, it's actually really neat.
I mean, even Heinlein did it. Science fiction author. Which book was it? Stranger in a Strange Land. Is that the name of it? But it was about this guy from another planet, and he came to Earth, and he introduced a word that is used by quite a few people, mainly in like the nerd circles, called grok.
What's that?
It's a word, like, I think in the language of the character, it meant to like drink. So it was like consuming something, and you take it in, you understand it completely. So it's to grok something is to really get it, to really kind of take it into yourself. You know what I mean?
That's really cool.
Yeah, just and there's no other word that you can say in just one word to describe that process. Like, I just had to use a whole bunch of words to describe it to you, or I could just say grok.
That's awesome.
That's time travel.
Okay, well, I'll make a deal with you. You come over here, and I'll give you the first book of that trilogy, and you give me the first book of those, and she'll point at the Dresden File book.
Yeah, let me go see if they got it.
And she'll go about the process of picking up her little pile and kind of tuck it expertly against a hip and follow along to go dig out the Winds of Fate book.
And he will go back to the section B for Butcher and finger through the books. Well, would you look at that? Someone checked it out.
My luck.
I got it. Tell you what, I'll come here another time and I'll hand it off to you.
That sounds good. Any particular days you're usually here? I mean, I'm traveling back and forth a lot more now, so it's right on my way.
You let me know and I'll be here because I've found myself with a lot of free time on my hands lately.
I mean, I can come back by tomorrow.
I can do that.
And she'll beam a bit. Thankfully, Mercedes Lackey isn't as widely read. So she'll thumb through a little bit, and of course they're all out of order. And she resists deeply the urge to put the series in order book by book, and finally finds the one she's looking for and thumbs it out. Just probably a slightly worn paperback, and offers it over.
He will take it and eye the cover, quickly read the back blurb.
It definitely comes across as kind of a chick book, but...
Yeah, of course. he kind of looks a little apprehensive at first as he's really looking at this now.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. There's romance and stuff in there too, but it's not, like, overwhelming.
It's certainly a colorful appearance. Yeah, I will check this out.
And she'll give a little bop of her head. It sounds good. Then I'll see you here tomorrow, right?
Yes. And
All
I should
right.
warn you, I have my own personal... Hey, thanks for a second. I'm going to have to fix that. You know what? Never mind, I said anything.
She kind of blinks. Okay.
It's no big deal.
I mean, whatever you got to do.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I will be here.
Yay. Good.
Yeah, what was your name?
It's Mary. She'll hold a hand out.
Mary, nice to meet you. And he extends his own hand. I am Scott.
Hey, Scott. Well, oh, yep, go ahead.
He just gives her a little smile and a nod. It's a very light handshake.
Yeah, absolutely. Very light shake from her as well. And of course she's beaming because she has someone to nerd out with. At least temporarily. This is good. This is fantastic.
And then he will give a slight little bow. I shall see you on the morrow.
Good. I'll see you then. And she'll kind of bob her head at him and do the little bob, the half-assed little curtsy bob, and head for the counter to check out her small mountain.
Yeah. There will be that awkward moment when they both realize they're heading the same way.
And she'll sputter and laugh.
And he will check out and he will be rather silent in that awkwardness.
She'll probably sputter and laugh a couple times just because it's kind of funny, especially because he's trying to be so stoic about it. And she'll once she's checked out, I'll give him a little bit of a wave again and start fishing around in her pocket for her subway card.
Yeah, he was gonna wait until she left to make it less awkward, but then as she's fumbling around, he just decides to he does that little half stop, and then he finally just walks out.
Yep. Then once she's got her card out, she'll follow along, but he'll have had time to get down the street or what have you. And I'd say that's a good point to close it off.
I'd say so.
And say thank you, player, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. And we'll see you next time on another thrilling episode of Nerds!